Welcome to Whispers from the Cottage. Tonight's story is called She Was Never Lost. This is a gentle bedtime story for letting the day soften and for learning to be enough just as you are. There is nothing you need to do, nothing you need to fix, nothing you need to hold together. If you feel tired of trying, of carrying more than your share, you're in the right place. Get comfortable, lower the lights, allow your body to rest. You don't need to stay awake until the end. If you drift off, that's perfectly okay. Let the night take over now and simply listen. The sun had long dipped below the horizon, leaving behind a canvas of deep blues and purples that enveloped the small village where Emma lived. Nestled at the edge of a serene forest, her cottage stood as a haven of tranquility, with its weathered stones and a roof covered in ivy. The faint sounds of crickets chirping mingled with the rustling leaves, creating a soothing symphony that filled the air. Inside, the soft glow of candlelight flickered, casting gentle shadows on the walls. Emma settled into her favorite armchair, a cozy spot draped with a warm blanket. She cradled a steaming cup of chamomile tea in her hands, the aroma wrapping around her like a comforting embrace. As she took a sip, she felt the warmth seep into her bones, a temporary solace against the chill of the night. Yet, despite the cozy atmosphere, a sense of restlessness lingered within her. The day's events replayed in her mind, each moment stirring a mix of emotions. She had spent the afternoon at work, pushing through meetings and deadlines, all while putting on a brave face. The expectations of her job weighed heavily on her shoulders, demanding perfection at every turn. It was as if she were trapped in an unending cycle of striving for approval, leaving little room for her own needs. Emma gazed out of the window, her eyes drawn to the twinkling stars above. Each star seemed to whisper a secret, a reminder of dreams long forgotten. She often found herself lost in thought, pondering the choices she had made and the paths she had taken. Why was it so difficult to prioritize herself? The question echoed in her mind, a haunting refrain. With a sigh, she set her cup on the table beside her and reached for her journal. The pages were filled with her thoughts, dreams, and fears, an intimate glimpse into her soul. Writing had always been a cathartic outlet for her, a way to untangle the knots of her emotions. She opened to a blank page, the pen poised in her hand, but the words eluded her tonight. Instead, she felt an overwhelming heaviness, a weight that was hard to define. The silence of the evening was punctuated only by the occasional creak of the old cottage, a reminder that she was alone in this tranquil space. Yet, loneliness had become a familiar companion. Emma had friends and family, but there were times when she felt misunderstood, as if no one could truly grasp the depths of her struggles. In her heart, she longed for connection, a shared understanding that would lighten her burdens. As she sat in the dim light, her thoughts wandered back to the societal pressures that seemed to loom larger each day. The expectations placed upon women, particularly those in their 30s and 40s, felt insurmountable. The need to balance work, relationships, and self-care was a delicate dance, one that often left her feeling inadequate. Why did she constantly feel the need to prove herself? The question gnawed at her, each answer leading to more uncertainty. The flickering candlelight cast a gentle glow on her face, illuminating the lines of worry etched upon her forehead. What if I could just let go? She whispered to herself, imagining a life free from the weight of expectations. But even as the thought crossed her mind, a wave of doubt washed over her. Letting go seemed impossible when the world around her demanded so much. Emma stood up and walked to the window, the cool glass against her fingertips, grounding her in the present moment. She watched as the village grew quieter, the lights in neighboring cottages dimming one by one. It was as if the world outside was surrendering to the night, embracing the stillness that accompanied it. Yet, within her, a storm of thoughts raged on. Maybe I need to step outside, she thought, hoping that a breath of fresh air would clear her mind. She grabbed her scarf and slipped into her favorite pair of boots, the ones that had carried her on countless adventures through the nearby woods. Stepping outside, she was greeted by the crisp night air, invigorating and refreshing against her skin. As she walked along the cobblestone path, she felt a sense of calm wash over her. The stars sparkled brilliantly overhead, a reminder of the beauty that existed even in darkness. The gentle rustle of leaves and the distant hoot of an owl created a serene backdrop, allowing her thoughts to settle, if only for a moment. Emma wandered through the village, her footsteps echoing softly in the stillness. She passed by the quaint cottages, their windows glowing warmly with the light of family gatherings. A pang of longing surged within her. While she cherished her independence, there were times when she craved companionship, a shared laugh, a comforting hug, a simple conversation that could bring her back to life. As she continued her stroll, she found herself drawn to the village square, where a small fountain bubbled gently, its waters sparkling under the moonlight. She paused, taking in the tranquil scene. The fountain had always been her favorite spot, a place where she could escape the noise of her thoughts and simply be. Sitting on the edge of the fountain, she closed her eyes, allowing the rhythmic sound of the water to wash over her. With each breath, she tried to release the tension that had built up inside her. She imagined her worries drifting away like leaves carried by a gentle breeze. Breathe in peace, breathe out worry, she whispered, repeating the mantra like a prayer. The world around her faded as she focused on her breath, the cool night air filling her lungs. In this moment, she felt a flicker of hope, a reminder that there was still beauty to be found, even in the midst of chaos. But as the stillness enveloped her, the thoughts began to creep back in the insecurities, the doubts, the relentless pursuit of perfection. Emma opened her eyes and gazed into the fountain, watching the water dance and shimmer. The reflection staring back at her seemed to hold a question. What do you truly want? The answer felt elusive, hidden beneath layers of expectation and fear. She wanted to feel free, to embrace her imperfections without judgment. But how could she achieve that when the world constantly demanded more? With a heavy heart, Emma rose from the fountain, the cool stone cool against her fingertips. She knew she needed to return home to seek solace in her own space. As she walked back, she vowed to herself that she would find a way to cultivate self-love, a journey she had long neglected. Once inside her cottage, she wrapped herself in her blanket and settled back into her armchair. The warmth of the tea still lingered, a reminder of the comfort she sought. She picked up her journal again, determined to let the words flow. This time, instead of focusing on the weight of her worries, she would write about her dreams, the things that brought her joy, the moments that made her heart sing. As she began to write, the tension in her shoulders began to ease. She poured her thoughts onto the page, each stroke of the pen a release of pent-up emotions. She wrote about the beauty of the village, the laughter of friends, and the small moments of joy that often went unnoticed. For the first time in a long while, she felt a sense of clarity. The clock ticked softly in the background, marking the passage of time. Emma lost herself in her writing, each word a step towards healing. She began to see that the journey of self-love was not a destination, but a practice, a daily commitment to embracing her authentic self. As the candle flickered low, she felt a wave of exhaustion wash over her. The weight of the day had finally begun to lift, replaced by a sense of peace. Emma closed her journal, the pages filled with her hopes and dreams. She took a deep breath, allowing the stillness of the night to surround her. In that moment, she realized that it was okay to be a work in progress. She didn't have to have all the answers. She just needed to take one step at a time. With a heart full of newfound hope, she turned off the lights and climbed into bed, ready to embrace the quiet of the night. As she drifted off to sleep, she whispered a quiet promise to herself to nurture her spirit, to find beauty in the ordinary, and to allow herself to simply be. The morning sun filtered through the curtains of Emma's cottage, casting a warm glow over her cozy space. As she awoke, she felt a sense of calm wash over her, a welcome contrast to the restless nights that had plagued her. The events of the previous evening still lingered in her mind, like a tender whisper urging her to embrace the journey of self-discovery. She stretched, letting out a soft yawn, and sat up in bed. Sunlight danced on the walls, illuminating the small collection of dreams she had pinned up photographs, quotes, and snippets of inspiration that reminded her of the beauty in life. But as she glanced at them, a familiar sense of unease began to creep back in. Why is it so hard to just be happy? She wondered, swinging her legs over the side of the bed. The question felt heavy, and she couldn't shake the feeling that something deeper was at play. She had spent so long chasing after approval, both from herself and others, that she had lost sight of what truly mattered. After a quick breakfast of toast and honey, Emma decided to take a walk in the nearby woods. Nature had always been her refuge, a place where she could escape the chaos of her mind. As she stepped outside, the crisp air filled her lungs, invigorating her spirit. The world was waking up, birds chirping, and leaves rustling in the gentle breeze. Walking along the familiar path, she allowed herself to reflect on her feelings. The tranquility of the woods surrounded her, yet her thoughts swirled like autumn leaves caught in a whirlwind. She recalled moments when she had sacrificed her own happiness to meet the expectations of others. Times when she had said yes to plans she didn't want to attend, or pushed her own desires aside to please friends or family. Each memory felt like a shadow, lurking behind her, whispering doubts and insecurities. "You should be more like them," they seemed to say. "Why can't you just be happy?" Emma felt the weight of those shadows pressing down on her, making it harder to breathe. As she reached the clearing, she paused to take in the beauty around her. The sunlight filtered through the branches, casting dappled patterns on the forest floor. It was here, in this serene space, that she felt a flicker of hope. "Maybe it's time to confront these shadows," she thought. "Maybe it's time to be honest with myself." With determination, Emma settled onto a fallen log, the rough bark grounding her as she took a moment to breathe. She closed her eyes, allowing the sounds of nature to envelop her. The rustling leaves, the distant call of a woodpecker, and the gentle breeze all blended into a soothing melody. "Why do I feel this way?" she asked herself. "What am I really afraid of?" The questions hung in the air, and for the first time, she felt ready to face the answers. It was time to unravel the tangled thoughts that had plagued her for too long. Emma picked up a small notebook she had brought with her, a companion for her thoughts. She began to write, allowing the words to flow without judgment. "I often feel inadequate," she wrote. "I compare myself to others and wonder why I can't seem to measure up." Each word felt like a release, a step toward liberation. As she continued to write, she explored the reasons behind her feelings. "I seek validation from others, but in doing so, I lose sight of who I am. I've let the opinions of others shape my self-worth." The realization was both liberating and terrifying. Tears sprang to her eyes as she acknowledged the truth she had long avoided. She felt as though she had been wearing a mask, one that hid her true self from the world. The pressure to conform, to fit into a mold that didn't feel authentic, had taken a toll on her spirit. "I need to learn to love myself as I am," she scribbled, her heart racing. "I need to let go of the fear of judgment. It's okay to be different." With each sentence, the shadows began to dissipate, replaced by a sense of clarity. Emma realized that her worth was not defined by the opinions of others, but by her own acceptance of herself. It was a powerful shift, one that offered a glimmer of hope in the midst of uncertainty. After pouring her heart onto the page, Emma closed her notebook and took a deep breath. The weight of her emotions felt lighter, as though the act of writing had freed her from the chains of self-doubt. She stood up, feeling empowered by her newfound understanding. As she continued her walk through the woods, she thought about the journey ahead. It wouldn't be easy. Confronting her shadows would require ongoing effort and self-compassion. But she was ready to embrace the challenge. "I will take it one step at a time," she promised herself, determination igniting within her. Returning home, Emma felt a renewed sense of purpose. She brewed a cup of her favorite herbal tea, the warmth of the mug comforting against her palms. As she sipped, she contemplated the practices she could incorporate into her daily life to nurture her self-love. She decided to create a self-care ritual, simple acts that would remind her of her worth. Perhaps she would dedicate time each evening to reflect on her day, celebrating the small victories and acknowledging her feelings. Or maybe she would explore new hobbies, allowing herself the freedom to create without judgment. With a notebook open on the kitchen table, Emma began jotting down her ideas. Daily affirmations, she wrote, moments of gratitude, and time for creativity. Each suggestion felt like a promise, a commitment to herself that she would no longer be held back by fear. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Emma felt a sense of peace settle within her. The shadows that had once felt so overwhelming now seemed more like companions on her journey. They were reminders of the lessons she needed to learn, guiding her towards self-acceptance. Later that evening, Emma settled into her favorite chair, the warmth of the blanket wrapped around her like a protective cocoon. She picked up her journal and began writing again, this time focusing on the positive aspects of her day. I took a walk in the woods and faced my fears, she wrote. I allowed myself to feel and to acknowledge my emotions. Each line was a testament to her growth, a reminder that she was capable of change. As she wrote, a sense of clarity washed over her. She realized that self-love was not a destination but a continuous journey, one that required patience and understanding. It was okay to stumble along the way, as long as she kept moving forward. The soft glow of the candles illuminated her space, creating a serene ambience. Emma closed her eyes, taking a moment to breathe deeply. She envisioned a future where she embraced her true self, free from the shadows of doubt. Tomorrow is a new day, she whispered, a smile forming on her lips. A chance to practice self-love and acceptance once more. With a heart full of hope, she drifted off to sleep, the weight of her worries lifting as she embraced the promise of a new beginning. In the stillness of the night, she felt a sense of peace settle within her, a quiet reassurance that she was on the right path. The night had fully settled over the village when Emma stepped outside once more. The air was cooler now, brushed with the faint scent of damp earth and blooming jasmine. Above her, the moon hung low and full, casting a silver glow over the cobblestone path that wound gently through the quiet streets. She pulled her scarf closer around her neck and began to walk without urgency, her footsteps slow and deliberate. The village felt different at night, softer, as though it were breathing alongside her. Windows glimmered faintly behind lace curtains, and somewhere in the distance a clock chimed the hour, its sound low and unhurried. Emma hadn't planned where she was going. She simply followed the pull of the night, letting her thoughts drift like clouds across the sky. The heaviness she had carried earlier felt less sharp now, more like a distant echo than a pressing weight. As she rounded a familiar corner near the old sycamore tree, she noticed someone sitting on the wooden bench beneath it. An elderly woman sat there quietly, her posture relaxed, her hands moving rhythmically as knitting needles clicked together in a gentle, steady pattern. A small lantern rested beside her, its warm light illuminating soft silver hair pulled neatly into a bun. Emma slowed her steps, unsure whether to interrupt. But before she could turn away, the woman looked up and smiled a smile that felt like an open door. "Good evening," the woman said softly, her voice calm and inviting. "Good evening," Emma replied, surprised by how naturally the words came. Lovely night, the woman continued, gesturing toward the sky. The moon is especially kind tonight. Emma glanced upward and nodded. It feels peaceful. The woman patted the empty space beside her. Would you like to sit for a moment? After a brief hesitation, Emma found herself walking toward the bench. She sat down, the wood cool beneath her palms, the quiet wrapping around them both like a shared secret. I'm Agnes, the woman said, returning her attention to the knitting in her lap. Emma, she replied. They sat together in companionable silence for a few moments, the only sound the soft click of needles and the distant whisper of leaves overhead. Emma felt an unexpected sense of ease, as if she had stepped into a moment that had been waiting for her. You walk as though your thoughts are very full, Agnes said gently, not looking up. Emma smiled faintly. They often are, Agnes nodded, as if this confirmed something she already knew. The mind can be a noisy place, especially when the world asks too much of us. Something in those words stirred Emma's chest. She looked down at her hands, folded neatly in her lap. Sometimes it feels like I'm always trying to be more better. Enough. Agnes paused her knitting and met Emma's gaze. Her eyes were kind, deep with years and understanding. And who decided what enough looks like? Emma opened her mouth, then closed it again. She didn't have an answer. For a long time, Agnes continued, I believed I had to earn my rest, my peace, my worth. She smiled softly. It took me many years to learn that none of those things were ever conditional. The lantern light flickered gently, casting warm shadows across Agnes's face. Emma felt something loosen inside her, like a knot slowly untangling. But how do you let go? Emma asked quietly. Of expectations, of the need to please? Agnes returned to her knitting, her movements unhurried. You begin by listening, not to the loudest voices, but to the quiet one inside you, the one that knows when something feels heavy, the one that sighs when you ignore yourself. Emma felt tears prick her eyes, though she wasn't entirely sure why. I'm afraid of disappointing people. Agnes nodded. And yet, you disappoint yourself every time you disappear to keep the peace. The words were simple, but they landed gently and firmly, like a truth Emma had been circling for years. The night, Agnes said after a moment, has a way of reminding us who we are beneath all the noise. That's why I come here, to sit, to breathe, to remember. Emma looked around the moonlight, the quiet streets, the steady presence beside her. She felt grounded, held in a way she hadn't expected. Thank you, she said softly. Agnes smiled again. You already know what you need, Emma. Be patient with yourself as you learn to trust it. After a while, Agnes folded her knitting carefully and stood. It's getting late. The night is meant for rest. Emma stood as well, reluctant to leave, but comforted nonetheless. Good night, Agnes. Good night, dear one, Agnes replied. Sleep kindly. Emma watched as Agnes disappeared down the path, her lantern bobbing gently until the darkness swallowed the light. She remained there for a moment longer, feeling the stillness settle into her bones. When she finally turned toward home, her steps felt lighter. The village seemed to hum softly around her, as if acknowledging a small but meaningful shift. Back in her cottage, Emma paused before blowing out the candles. She pressed a hand to her heart, breathing slowly. Perhaps she didn't need to have everything figured out tonight. Perhaps it was enough to listen. With that thought, she slipped into bed, the moonlight brushing across her face. As sleep began to claim her, Emma felt wrapped in a quiet reassurance, like a whisper carried on the night air, reminding her that she was already enough. The days that followed passed gently, like slow-moving clouds drifting across a wide sky. Nothing in Emma's life changed all at once, and yet something was different. A subtle shift, barely visible from the outside, had begun to take root within her. Each evening, as twilight settled over the village, Emma found herself moving more slowly. She no longer rushed through the final hours of the day. Instead, she allowed the light to fade naturally, welcoming the soft blue hush that arrived with nightfall. She began lighting a candle after dinner, just one. Its flame flickered quietly, a small and steady companion. The simple ritual grounded her, reminding her that this time was hers. Emma started to return to her journal, not to untangle worries, but to listen. She wrote without expectation. Some nights it was only a few lines. Other evenings, her thoughts spilled gently across the page. She wrote about how the air felt against her skin, about the way the moon rested above the rooftops, about the comfort of silence. And when difficult emotions surfaced, as they sometimes did, she met them with softness rather than resistance. "It's all right," she whispered to herself. "You're allowed to feel this." In the quiet moments before sleep, Emma began to sit on the edge of her bed, feet resting on the cool wooden floor. She closed her eyes and placed a hand over her heart, breathing slowly, in and out. With each breath, she imagined releasing the need to be anything other than what she was in that moment. She reminded herself that rest was not something to earn, it was something to receive. Some evenings, memories returned. Old habits of self-judgment tried to slip back in, familiar and persistent. But now Emma noticed them with curiosity rather than fear. "Not tonight," she would think gently. "Tonight, I choose kindness." She began saying no more often. Not abruptly, not harshly, but honestly. And in the space that opened up, she found moments of quiet joy she hadn't known she was missing. A longer morning walk, a cup of tea sipped slowly by the window, the simple pleasure of doing nothing at all. These small acts became anchors, tiny promises she kept to herself. As the evenings grew darker, Emma's cottage transformed into a sanctuary. Soft blankets, dim light, the faint hum of night outside. She allowed herself to linger in these moments, letting them stretch and unfold without hurry. Sometimes she thought of Agnes, of her calm presence, of her gentle certainty. Emma realized that change did not arrive with grand gestures or dramatic decisions. It came quietly, through repeated acts of care, through listening, through choosing herself in ways both small and profound. One night, As rain began tapping softly against the windows, Emma lay in bed, listening to its rhythm. Each drop felt like a lullaby, washing the day away. She breathed in the scent of clean air and candle wax, feeling her body sink deeper into the mattress. "I am learning," she whispered. "I am allowed to take my time." The words settled into her like warmth. As sleep approached, Emma noticed how her thoughts had softened. They no longer demanded answers. They simply passed through, like leaves floating along a slow-moving stream. She understood now that self-love was not something she had to master. It was something she practiced again and again, especially on the nights when it felt hardest. Wrapped in the stillness, Emma drifted into rest. The candle had long burned out, but its quiet presence lingered in her chest. Change was happening, slowly, gently, and exactly as it needed to. The night arrived without effort. It simply unfolded slowly, quietly, like a deep breath the world had been holding all along. The village rested beneath a sky scattered with soft, distant stars, each one glowing without asking to be seen. Inside her cottage, Emma lay still. The day had gently loosened its grip, and nothing was asking her for attention anymore. No expectations, no answers. Only this moment, warm and calm, holding her exactly as she was. Her breathing was slow now, in and out. The familiar sounds of the night wrapped around her, the faint sigh of wind through the trees, the subtle creak of old wood settling into rest. Each sound felt like a reassurance, a quiet reminder that she was safe. Emma noticed how her body felt heavy in the best possible way, supported, resting, as though the bed itself knew how tired she had been and was happy to carry the weight for her. Thoughts came and went, but they no longer lingered. She didn't chase them. She didn't push them away. She let them drift past, like clouds dissolving into the dark. Somewhere in the stillness, Emma felt a soft, understanding bloom. She did not need to fix herself. She did not need to arrive anywhere else. She was already here, already enough. The need to prove, to strive, to become those old habits had begun to fade. Not all at once, but quietly, kindly, replaced by something steadier, acceptance, a sense of being at home within her own breath. The moonlight brushed gently across the room, touching the walls, the floor, the edges of familiar things. Everything felt softened, as if the night itself had smoothed away the sharpness of the day. Emma placed a hand over her heart. It beat calmly now, steadily, faithfully. With each breath, she felt gratitude rise. Not the kind that demands effort, but the kind that simply exists. Gratitude for warmth, for quiet, for the courage it had taken to listen to herself. She remembered the words she had been learning to repeat. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to take your time. You are allowed to be exactly as you are. The words wrapped around her like a familiar blanket. Outside, the world continued its gentle rhythm. The night held everything without judgment, every worry, every dream, every unfinished thought. Emma allowed herself to be held too. Her body softened further, sinking into the mattress. Her breath slowed even more. The space between each inhale and exhale stretched, peaceful and unbroken. Nothing needed her now, and she needed nothing in return. Sleep approached like a quiet friend, unannounced and kind. Emma welcomed it without hesitation, trusting the night to carry her where she needed to go. As consciousness began to blur at the edges, one final thought settled gently within her. This was enough. This moment, this breath, this softness. And as Emma drifted into deep, restful sleep, the night whispered its promise once more. Sleep well, dear one. You are safe, and the night will hold you